pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I heard that, Colin.
I need to announce that the meeting is being recorded and televised by the local cable company. And we'll begin the meeting with a moment of silence. And during that time, if you could remember in your thoughts and prayers, the family of Jean McDonald from the Council on Aging, and the mother of Kurt Saltmarsh from the Finance Committee, his mother's name was Claire, who have both passed away over the last couple of weeks. It's Jean McDonald and Claire Saltmarsh. Kurt Saltmarsh is still with us. Could I have a motion for the approval of bill and payroll warrants?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
A motion to accept correspondence in the read file?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And public forum. Is there anyone here who wants to speak on anything that's not on the agenda? It's on.
Nice, Colin. What can I say?
Approval of, I'll speak louder. Approval of meeting minutes, open session, September 13th, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Open session, September 16th, 2016,
So moved.
Second.
and Scott Lembiancy wasn't there that day, so we're going to hear an extension from
I
you.
abstain.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Had I been there, things would have been different. Put the read file.
Okay, where are we? It hasn't reached 7:05 yet, so we're going to try some new business. Act to appoint David Cordero to the position of member of the Buildings, Facilities, and Capital Expenditures Committee for an indefinite term.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Set the solid waste fee for FY17. Frank?
I spoke with Bruce Martin. The $250 that we're currently charging seems to be covering it, so we'd like to continue at that rate for another year. Excellent.
Is there a motion?
Yes, I motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Act on the request of Friends of the Park to use the Town Hall Auditorium on Saturday, November 12, 2016, from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. to hold the 13th annual wine tasting and silent auction for a one-day liquor license and to waive the fee for said permit. Use of the auditorium is also requested on Friday from 12 noon to 6 p.m. and all day Saturday in order to set up for the event.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Promise to be here this year.
Should I worry about a conspiracy because the mic isn't any good?
The mic is what?
I hope it's not picking up my sniffling.
Check his ear for an earbud.
Act on the request of Town Clerk Don Volley to sign the warrant for the November 8th, 2016 state presidential election.
If we don't motion, that means that we won't have one?
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Couldn't resist, Carl.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's true. Act on the disclosure by a special interest municipal employee of financial interest in a municipal contract as required by General Law of Chapter 268A, Section 20D, for Auxiliary Police Force Special Police Officer Adam Solomon.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions?
This allows him to plow snow for the DPW as a casual employee of the police department.
Is that a category? Casual employee?
Special, yeah.
Gets to wear
Yeah.
jeans.
It's sort of a casual employee, okay. Any motion?
So moved.
Second?
Nobody
All
bit.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
It's reached 7:05. It's time for a public meeting with respect to the application of Easy Auto Rentals Incorporated, doing business as Auto Town Truck Sales, Robert Hayes, for a Class 1 auto dealer's license on the premises located at 808 Bedford Street, subject to receipt of a surety bond as acquired by Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 58, and final inspection and approval of the building commissioner and zoning enforcement officer.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
That was a class 2. You said class 1.
Thank you, it was
That
class
comes
2.
with 100 gallons of free gas, right, Buster?
As long as it's cheaper in Whitman than it is in
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to just say that Mr. Hayes gave me a tour of the facility, excuse me, and he's done a fantastic job at that location. It's really transformed into a top-notch place, and I want to commend him for that. He did a great job.
Okay, very good. Anyone else? All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
And while I'm thinking of that,
Want
there's
to
a
thank
letter,
Bob
there's
for
there's a letter I
increasing the
forgot,
taxes.
there's a letter in here somewhere that I was supposed to read. And I was seeing Mr. Hayes here, it it reminded me of it, because it's from the school committee. This is a letter from the superintendent of schools, Ruth Whitner, dated September 29th. On behalf of the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District and the Regional School Committee, we would like to invite, no, that's not it. That's not what I'm supposed to be reading. That's inviting me to a meeting that's going to happen tomorrow night.
Have a good time.
Let us know how it works out.
It's the budget meeting. Where is this thing?
Okay. That it?
No, that's the one I was just starting to read. Ah. It's got a note on it that says, please read, so I should have seen it. You know, that's what happens when you get married.
By Elvis.
For those of you who don't know, my wife and I renewed our wedding vows last week at an Elvis Presley chapel in Las Vegas, and I've just been giddy ever since.
Yeah.
It's
Just cost him a few
beside
votes,
myself
huh?
here.
Kyle has left the building.
This is dated October 4th, and it's to Mr. Bruce Martin. Dear Mr. Martin, on behalf of the Whitman-Hanson Regional School Committee and the Regional School District, we extend our sincere gratitude to you and the Whitman DPW staff for your efforts and assistance during the construction and renovation to the walkways at the high school and Whitman Middle School over this past summer. The district truly appreciates the time, labor, and hard work the DPW crews provided during the busy summer months. Thank you for your support of the school system and for your assistance in ensuring the safety of our sidewalks for students, staff, and visitors, and signed sincerely, Ruth Gilbert Whitner, Superintendent of Schools.
And Mr. Chairman, I had the
Yes.
opportunity to visit the schools last week with Ernie Sandlin. They did an amazing job fixing up those walkways, both at the high school and at the middle school. They did a super job with what they've done over the weekend, over the summer.
Mr. Chairman, if I could.
You may.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, over the winter, we had the last couple of winters, both of the sidewalks in many of the school district buildings had heaved. And we had got some bid prices that were pretty large. And the DPW from Whitman came forward, made this huge effort, put a ton of work into this, and saved the citizens of the town a substantial amount of money. And I think we probably came out with a better product than we might have done if we had bid it out. In the process at the high school, we had moved the flagpole because somewhere in the beginning when the school was built, the flagpole was a little too close to the building for our liking, and it had gotten run into at one point. We didn't even know it had a giant crack in it. So we moved it a little bit further out front where you can see it a little bit better. And again, the DPW was very, very efficient with what they did and instrumental in getting this all done. And again, it saved the town a substantial amount of money, taxpayer-wise. So I want to thank them too on behalf of the school district. And thank you for
Okay.
instituting that, so thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Do you want to say anything about this meeting tomorrow night at the high school?
Tomorrow night, we have invited both of the FinComs from Whitman and Hanson and both of the boards of selectmen. What the school district is trying to do is put forward an earlier budget meeting, so maybe with the understanding that more and more people will come, because it seems as the budget moves forward into January and February and March, when the governor's budget comes out for the final time, it's very difficult for people to cram it into one meeting. So we thought by maybe getting everybody together earlier, it might be easier to understand how the total budget and the impact of the citizens on the town is going to come out, because with what's going on with question 2, whether it should be a yes or a no vote and all the different ads that you see, there's going to be a lot going on. So we thought this meeting might be a good time. If anyone watching this as a resident wants to come, we want to remind them that all selectmen's, all FinComs, and especially all school committees meetings are open to the public. And definitely, we would invite the people to come. So if they have any questions, we're going to be speaking about that tomorrow night. But we're also going to get into an in-depth discussion about the budget itself, the making of the budget, and where we are.
Okay, thank you. The letter that she wrote inviting the selectmen said that it was a meeting about the strategic plan from 2016 to 2019.
Yes, that
So
will all,
that's-
that's going to also be discussed, and the strategic plan is a big part of what the school is going to do moving forward. But we always discuss budget, so
Okay, great.
we're going to get into some of that and see what happens tomorrow night, just to give people a better snapshot. Because a lot of people, we've had a tremendous amount of calls, I know personally, about what does 2 mean. So I'd be happy to see all of you there, and anyone else that would love to come, we'd love to have them.
Okay,
So
thank you, Bob.
thank you for affording me this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Welcome. 7:10, time for a public meeting with respect to the application of Memorial Field Association Incorporated, doing business as American Legion, post number 22, for new officers, directors on the premises located at 33 Legion Parkway.
Need a motion?
Well, we would like to,
Yeah,
there can be a motion, but what we'd like to do is
see what it's about?
hear who they are.
Yeah.
Somebody from the American Legion Post like to speak to this?
Come on up.
Come on down.
Just tell us what you're doing.
Well, every year we have to, I'm Chet Quimby, by the way, fire manager. And every year we have to elect officers, and then they have to be approved by the ABCC and the Board of Selectmen also.
And we have, do we have a list of them in here?
Should be in the front of the document.
Ah. Okay, the officers are, correct me if I'm wrong on this. Director President Paul Hanson? Is that correct?
No,
Pardon me? That's last year's?
right.
Oh, I'm
Rico
sorry.
Durante.
Walter Aylward, Director President, is that the one I'm supposed to be looking
It's
at?
these documents here, Carl. It's the loose ones.
This one?
Would be the individual request for James Murphy Jr.,
All right.
let's see, where are the changes? And then the list on the corporate side, the second down,
Starting off
Americo
with
Duante, Walter
Right.
Alward,
James Murphy, Paul
correct.
Hanson, Philip Joubert, Ralph Quimby, John Acusis, Charles Brown, Richard Cameron, and George Lopes. Okay, you all have those in front of you? Okay, can we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
There.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye. There, me.
Thank you
Thank you
very
very
much.
much.
Appreciate
Nice
it.
shirt.
Thank you.
It's a formality.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is to discuss Chapter 218, Section 57, Selectmen's approval of payroll warrants. Frank?
Yes, under the governor's modernization bill, one of the changes that have been authorized to statute is the signature of payroll and bill warrants. The process currently requires that no less than 3 members of the Board of Selectmen sign each warrant before the accountant is authorized, or before the treasurer is authorized to release funds. Under the change in the law, the board can designate one selectman to sign the warrants on behalf of the board, And that selectman would then bring those records of warrants forward at the next meeting. I am suggesting the board consider this because sometimes it's difficult to get warrants signed quickly enough to not hold checks for an additional week. It would not necessarily change how the board views and approves warrants, because the cover page for each warrant would be available to all the members at the next meeting. So you would be able to review what was approved from warrant to warrant.
Has there been an issue of having trouble getting 3 signatures?
On occasion,
on a
yes.
timely, a lot of occasions, few occasions, what?
No, not a lot of times.
Okay.
You know, if we've got people traveling and unavailable and
Because I wasn't aware that it was a huge
yeah,
problem.
it's not a huge problem. But what the state is recognizing is that in the normal course of events, many times the selectmen don't have an opportunity to review some of these things until they meet. And this provides you with an alternative. I'm not suggesting that you necessarily voted tonight, but be aware of that option in the event the board decides it may be convenient to designate one selectman.
Can it be a floating selectman?
No,
It has
best.
to be one person that's like a
I've
treasurer?
actually asked that question, and
Can it
Michelle
also be,
Michelle
employee?
McNulty is reviewing that right now, because the language is particular to saying one selectman. And Matt, I think you explained it
Not
best.
one signature, one selectman.
One selectman.
Wasn't there a provision in there also for town administrator or town manager to sign it?
Not for warrants.
No. I thought there was.
I'll recheck, but I don't believe it was there for warrants.
Anyone have any thoughts?
Yes, I had asked Frank to find out about this because I suggested in case, well, let's say I was the one that they chose and I'm on vacation. That means that the warrants don't get signed, bills don't get paid. My
Well,
theory
unless
is why
three other
not have,
selectmen come in. Unless 3 other
right,
selectmen come
unless,
in.
right, my theory is, I asked him, find out if we could have maybe a signature for one person and then an alternate signature. So say we don't go people, we go, let's say chairman and vice chairman, right? Chairman signs it in lieu of the chairman if he's on vacation, the vice chair signs it. Right, that way, every week there'll be somebody available and the job will get done. That's what Frank was checking in.
Right now, the language is unclear, and
Right.
Michelle has, our town council has made a request to the, or Matt, I don't know who's writing the letter, but has made a request to the Department of Revenue for an
Come back and bite us.
interpretation on what the
All right,
requirement
why don't we wait to
is.
see what she has to say and
Okay.
then make a determination. It could put us in more of a bind than we currently
I agree.
have.
Yeah.
If there's
Right.
one
Well, no,
person
the
designated.
designation is in the event that you don't have 3 signatures. Any one
will
person
work.
can sign on
And-
behalf
but
of the
not any-
board,
Eh,
whoever that one person is that's
So it's gonna be the
designated.
same one. Is that for a term of 1 year or?
No, there's no specified term.
Okay.
Okay, what happens if you have 3 signatures and one of those signatures is not the person designated
Doesn't
to sign
matter.
it?
It allows, it doesn't require you, it simply allows you
Oh, okay.
to bypass the 3 signature requirement
Long as
for
the one-
As
expediency.
long as the person that has been designated
Right.
is usually around most of the time.
And brings back to the
Which
board
brings
at
back
the
the
next
ori-
meeting.
Which brings back the original question,
Yeah,
which was how much of a problem is this?
right. It's not a major problem.
All right, why don't we wait to see what Michelle has to say?
Sure.
Make sense to you all?
Yep.
And we'll see that again on the agenda. Okay, we've exhausted the agenda, except for an executive session. Around the board, Frank, do you have anything you'd like to?
Well, I do have a little good news. On Friday at roughly 11:30 PM, we sold 35 East Avenue. The winning bid was $103,000. The cost of sale for the auctioneer for advertising and everything else that goes with it is $4,500. So we'll net 99 plus. I asked Mary Beth Carter to look at what our total carrying was for that particular property. If you assessed all of the charges plus interest continuing from the date of tax title to the date of sale, the number would have been $86,897. So we come out of this property as whole as we would have if the owner redeemed it, which I think is pretty remarkable given the condition of the property. So I'm pleased to make that announcement and to take East Ave off my
Off the list.
watch list.
Scott?
Yeah, I have one thing. We're still asking people who are interested if they want to get on our Whitman Hanson Cable Studios Board of Directors. I believe Whitman's still 3 members shy, and it would be, I think Hanson is 1 member
3
shy
out of 4.
on the Board of Directors. You're supposed to have 4 in each, for each, representing each town. It would be very nice if we could get 3 volunteers. They meet once a month, so it's not a lot of time, but your input and how our cable studio is run and handled would be, really good. And I would ask if anyone's interested, please contact our cable studios, and they'd be glad to interview you and get you on the board of directors. That's it.
Great. Brian? Okay. Speaking of interviews, over the next 4 or 5 days, we'll be interviewing the semifinalists for the assistant town manager's position. And hopefully, we'll be able, well, no, not hopefully, but at the next meeting, we'll bring forward our recommendations for interviews. And we'll interview the finalists in open session at that time. So that search should be coming to a close pretty soon. We need to go into executive session. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Exception 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and with the public body. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Yes.
Yes.
Yes? And we will be going into we're in executive session now. We'll reopen the open session only to adjourn.